one of you girls want the rod?
All you, Cody.
Cody. Just a big walleye. Big walleye.
Woo,
That's a big
Can you see
walleye.
it? Look.
Yeah, I see him.
Of course we got one.
Okay. Yes!
That's a big fish.
Woo!
That's a big fish.
Yes!
That's a 12-pound fish.
Oh my god! Holy shit! Oh my god! The what? And what didn't we get in, Cody? What didn't we get in?
It's fishing.
Wait.
Come fish Lake Erie. Walleye, muskellunge, lake trout, perch, bass, steelhead. ComeFishLakeErie.com. Book a charter today.
Basically, 3D. We were trolling, my sons and I were trolling in Lake Erie one day off of Dunkirk. And the marine radio, there's a lady came on there and said to this charter captain she was talking to, I'm killing them on meat. A meat rig is a worm harness. And I was running spoons. I found a couple of beat up worm harnesses because it wasn't a big thing for me to run at the time. And I put them on and started to catch fish. And they weren't the best looking harnesses you ever saw, but the walleyes seemed to like them. The next day, I went down to my basement and started creating. Because I went to the stores, they didn't have anything I was interested in. No imagination in what they do. So I sat at my bench and I started functioning with various harnesses, mainly Willow 4s at that time. I had to start. I had about 15, and I made a dozen of each when we went to the Jamestown show, figuring I had a lot. So what I do is basically, I do a lot of I used to do all the design work, but we've got a couple of new operations now that changes that a little, but I'm still in charge of making sure it gets to Triple S. The name 3D was strictly me and my two sons, since my last name is Dolly, 3D. That's where it came from. It came a long way from the beginning because we went to Colorado 5s because there's obviously a demand. The next thing I came out with was actually the Thumper, the big blade. There was a charter captain, Doug Stein was his name. He introduced me to those and he says, Jim, have you ever tried running those big turtleback? He called them turtlebacks. They have 2 or 3 different names. Mag willows, turtlebacks, big blade that scares a lot of people. But the buying public and the fishermen out there can't be afraid of this. This is strictly an attractant. They don't eat it. It gets them over to the bait, then they hit the bait. When the fish are deep, these work wonderfully. We won a big tournament with those across the board. We ran 6 of them. That's how hot it was that day. A bottom bouncer will have a float in front of it. It'll be normally a little bit smaller. It's got a longer leader. You only use one blade. Ouch. The hooks are sharp. There's a float put in the middle. Needless to say, on a regular harness, there's no floats. This is a lot longer. There's no swivel on the end. We just tie a fisherman's knot on the end because that's all you need on a bouncer. Set it out there and go crazy. You can vary your weights. It's kind of an individual thing with weights. Where do you want to put it? Do you want to put it here? Do you want to put it 2 or 3 feet up the line? I like to put it up about 6 feet up the line. So the bottom bouncer will do what it's supposed to do. This is the newest right here. And Triple S just had their dealers show, and the dealers were very impressed with those. The quality is just super. If you look at this, that's the side of a perch if you've ever seen it. And that's what they are. We're very fortunate to live where we live. We just have fantastic walleye fishing in Lake Erie. Fantastic. Just probably next to none if you really get out there and pursue them. We have a great perch fishery, and my wife's wanted to move to Florida for the last 30 years, but I says, you find me all them walleyes down in Florida, I'll go, but that's not happening. Look forward to this upcoming year. Look forward to perch and then walleyes. We entered 7 tournaments that year with that boat. We got our butt handed to us in every single one. So guess who went to the boat show the next year? And I says, that's what I want. That's what I want in it. I spent $5,000 equipping it with stuff because now I want to be competitive. Well, we won 5 out of the 7 the next year. We fished plenty. We just didn't have the right stuff and the right colors. And I have the world's greatest worm harness. How can I miss, man? I got my first 10-pounder out there on a casting reel. Didn't have a rod holder for it because it had a curved handle. I was just sitting there. First 10, and that was 4th place in the Southtowns that year. And from then on, I was really hooked. I says, I really like this, and we became obsessed with it, and it was the boys and I for years, and we won a lot of tournaments. We didn't win them all, but we won most of them, at least once. And Can-Am second was the best we could ever do. If it's catching, you're doing fine, man.
Don't allow your equipment to let you down. Protect your tools and toys with GasRx. Adding GasRx to your engine's diet improves fuel efficiency, increases power, reduces emissions, and reduces engine wear. This powerful multi-purpose formula dissolves gums, varnishes, and carbon deposits that can distort fuel injector spray patterns and damage delicate injector and fuel system components. GasRx contains no harmful alcohols or emulsifiers and allows your engine to operate with all the power and efficiency of its original design.
Come fish Lake Erie. Walleye, muskellunge, lake trout, perch, bass, steelhead. Come fish LakeErie.com. Book a charter today.
Did you pop it? That's the water rigger.
about 12 pounds. Here, look at it. This is a fin. It's a stocker. There it is. Take your time. Yeah. However you want to hold them.
Mom, face me.
Sheffield, Riversider, Challenger, 3D, Buffalo Tap.
Innovative Outdoors, changing the way you hunt and fish. For all your hunting and fishing gear needs, check us out at innovative-outdoors.com.
Our parent company is Triple S Sporting Supplies. My father started that out with two guys. Their last name began with S. That's how it ended up being Triple S. And we started up as a mail order catalog like Bass Pro back in 1969. And my father would make the catalog on the kitchen table and put it in. He would put ads in Field and Stream, and Boys Life, and magazines back then had the little ads in the back, and people would write us, and we'd send them a catalog. And then we started doing that, or my dad started to do that, and it wasn't growing fast enough. We weren't doing enough business. He at that time bought one of the partners out, and that was my father and my uncle actually at the time. And then they opened a retail store in the basement of Kenmore, New York, and that was going fairly good. But my father at that time didn't really like paying prices that he was paying from the wholesaler at that time or the other big shop. He would go to Rochester to pick the stuff up and then bring it back. And he started doing his homework and found out that he could buy better directly, but he couldn't buy enough. He couldn't buy that quantity. So he started going to the dealers around town. Back then there was Dom's and United and GNR Tackle, and he would go and get their orders together with his, and they would be able to go and buy flatfish or creek chub back then, or wooden Yakima rooster tails and that. And he would bring them in, split them up. He'd make a little bit when he sold them to them, and that's how we ended up doing. Started wholesale, and great. It's almost 50 years. We love fishing. You know, I probably didn't fish as much as I wanted to because I always was working. You know, I guess we'll start right over here with 3D. Well, that's just the Challenger brand. That's the name. The brands are all these. So the Challenger is the Sheffield, the 3D, the Challenger stick or Challenger baits, and Riversider. So they get them all. And Buffalo Tackle. So Sheffield is our salmon steelhead oriented products. They are the float reels and a lot of floats for fishing, steelhead and salmon. The Riversider is the mostly rods. We do have the Riversider float reel. We have 50 models of the Riversiders. I think it's somewhere around there, 50. And we have fly rods, salmon rods, noodle rods, trolling rods. They call them spay rods, but they're float rods. Whole bunch of rods. And then the Sheffield lures, where the Sheffield stick baits. We also have a full line of Challenger bucktail jigs in there. And then the stick baits, we make a trout size, which is a micro. We have a junior, we have the regulars, and then we also have some jointeds. And we have one series of deep divers. In the bucktails, we have 5 different sizes from 3/4 ounce all the way to back to 1/8 ounce. And we have about 12 to 15 colors of each. So, 3D. There's probably over 200 SKUs. We have willows. The willows are our best seller, or our most popular. The 5 Colorados, and we have bottom bouncers, thumpers, number 3, number 5 Colorados, number 4.5 willows, 4 willows, bottom bouncers, and also we didn't touch on that. What Jim didn't mention it, but we do sell the blades individually too, or separately. So especially our custom blades that we've developed, like the nuclear series, nuclear green, purple. We have a couple other ones. They're Erie swirl and pink panties. So gloves, fishing gloves, salmon fishing gloves, or not salmon fishing gloves, but stream fishing gloves. They're wool, so you won't. It wicks away the water a little bit, or doesn't get your hand as cold. We talked about the vest. We have 2 vests. The other one's not here, but we have 2 vests and a pouch or a chest pack.